guys! My name is Nika and welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna do a review on the Ordinary foundations. I have both. The wait list was very long. I waited for about a month or even two to get them, so yeah, I was so excited when they arrived. And now I had time to test them. I was testing them for about 2 weeks and I think I have my opinion on both. So let's start with the packaging. They come in these little boxes like this, and the foundations come in these little bottles. They are plastic and they have a pump. They look fairly small, as you can see, but they do contain 30 milliliters or 1 fluid ounce, which is quite standard for any foundation. They come in various shades, which is great, from very fair to dark, and they also have all the possible undertones, neutral, cool and warm, so I'm sure you can find your perfect shade. I'm using the shade 1.2N, which is light neutral. They have two versions of each foundation. One is for Europe and one is for US, Canada and I think Australia. And the non-European version doesn't have SPF listed on it. The versions for US, Canada and Australia are not allowed to have listed SPF on them, and the Europeans one do, but they are the same foundation. So now I'm gonna show you a few short clips of how I apply both foundations and how they wear for about 10 hours or so. And after that I'm gonna give my final verdict on both, so see ya then. So my face is already primed with the Ordinary primer. I'm gonna do a separate video about the primers later on, and now I'm gonna use my brush and my sponge on the other side to apply this foundation so you can see how it applies. I'm gonna put a bit less than a pump on the back of my hand. I don't like too heavy coverage, that's why I use a bit less of a foundation. And now I'm going here on the right side with my sponge. So that's one layer of foundation. I think I'm gonna add a bit more. I feel like I need it today. I had a mosquito keeping me up all night, so I'm a bit tired actually. But don't worry, I got him in the morning. So that's one layer of foundation with sponge, and now I'm gonna use my Real Techniques brush on the other side. I actually prefer to apply this foundation with a sponge because I feel like the brush may leave some streaks, and I don't know, I just don't like how it applies here on my pores. I'm just gonna apply some more, the same as I did with the sponge. You see how it streaks over here? I'm not sure if you can see on the camera, but it does leave tiny streaks, and it usually doesn't happen with this brush because it's really good and I use it for all my other foundations. Oh, hey Charlie, my cat is here attacking my chair again. He really doesn't like this chair, I don't know why. It's one thin layer of foundation on my face, and this is how the foundation looks right after you apply it. Now I'm gonna finish the rest of my face and I'm gonna come back so you can see how it looks with other makeup. So now I have applied the rest of my makeup and you can see how this foundation looks like with other products. Let's talk about this beautiful shiny goodness on my eyelids. If you want to know what that is, check my previous video because I made it just about that. I love it so much. So I've had this foundation on for about 10 hours. I just came home from work and it was super hot in my car, so this foundation was really put through a lot. But before I zoom you in, I need to have a bit of a rant. Because this morning I wanted to use an eyeshadow that I haven't used before. It's this Catrice limited edition feathered fall luxury eyeshadow, and as you can see it's in this beautiful shade. Yeah, it's the eyeshadow that has the most fallout ever, so That's why I'm telling you this, because I have fallout everywhere around my eyes. It looks like I have like 1,000 blackheads or something. And also this thing creased on me after, I don't know, a few minutes. I wasn't even done with the rest of my face when this one already creased. So great that it's a limited edition and you can't get that anymore, because it's crap and it's going to trash right after I'm done filming this. I would throw it there, but I'm afraid it's gonna break and be like poof all over my room. Yeah. And that's it, enough ranting. Now I'm gonna zoom you closer so you can see how this foundation held up. There you go, welcome to my face. As you can see, it's a bit shiny in this area and it rubbed off here around my nose, on my chin. But overall I think it looks quite good. What do you think, guys? I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, but it's a bit cakey here on this side. This is the side which I applied with a brush. And as I said while I was applying it, I think it already applied a bit like cakey, a bit heavy. I think it looks really good in comparison to some other foundations that I use now in this heat. I think this one is quite awesome. Now let's see how the serum foundation applies. I'm gonna scoot you guys a bit closer. I'm filming this right after I took up the Coverage foundation and that horrible eyeshadow, but some of the glitter still stayed on my face. It's like all over the place. So yeah, you guys know that I love Catrice, but that eyeshadow was so my face is primed, and now I'm gonna take one pump of the serum foundation here on the back of my hand, like so. As you can see, it's very runny and liquidy. I'm gonna again use brush on this side. So that's the brush side. And now I'm going in with my sponge on the other side. And that's the sponge side. Come a bit closer. Here we go. I think the side with the brush has a bit more coverage, but I think the application is still very beautiful because it's so liquidy. It really like blends into the skin and it doesn't leave any streaks. While this one has a bit lighter coverage, but still I really like both. So I usually used brush for the past 2 weeks. I don't see any cakiness or anything. I really like it a lot. Now I'm gonna apply the rest of my makeup off camera and I'll be right back. See you then. So that's the finished look with the serum foundation. I quickly slapped on some makeup on my face so I don't look so blank. And there we go. Let me scoot you closer. So that's my face up close. I think it looks very pretty. Other products apply very beautifully over it and I think nothing is really cakey. So yeah, that's the serum foundation with the whole face done. So I just came back from work and that means that I have my foundation on for about 10 hours or so. And let me take my mirror to see a bit better. As you can see, it held up pretty well. It's a light coverage foundation, so don't expect too much coverage from it. As you can see, there is some redness peeking through on my chin. But otherwise it looks really good. It's a bit oily here in my T-zone, of course. But in comparison to my other foundations, I think this one has one of the best oil controls of all foundations that I own. Now you've seen the clips of how these foundations apply and how they look after 10 hours. And I have to say that I'm very impressed with both of them. I think they both made it to my top 5 drugstore list. So yay for both! I think it's really amazing. Drugstore list. So yay for both! I think it's really amazing. I think I slightly prefer the serum foundation just because it feels a bit lighter on the skin and I think the coverage is not that worse as with the Coverage foundation, so that's why I like it a bit more. And the Coverage foundation can get a tiny bit cakey, but I still think they both perform very well. I think they have great oil control, so they can be great for people with oily skin. At the same time, I think they can be quite hydrating, so it can be also good for people with more dry skin. They are just good all-around foundations. I really love them. They can feel a bit tacky after application. The Serum foundation just a bit less, but it's not like... I usually don't like tacky, but this one doesn't bother me as much because it's more like hydrating tacky and not oily tacky, if that makes any sense. I think other products apply beautifully over this, and as I mentioned before, the shade selection is great, so I would really highly recommend both of these. They're super affordable, so even if you don't like them, you know, you didn't spend like a ton of money, so it's not that bad. But I think you will not be disappointed with any of these. I noticed that they both oxidize slightly. I think the Coverage foundation just oxidizes a bit more, or maybe it's just a bit more noticeable on the hand. Oh, Charlie's here. Hey Charlie. Will you look in the camera? See? I don't know what you're saying. Yeah, do you like the foundations as well? Oh, you want to get in my lap? Oh, come on. No? No? Okay. Whatever. Yeah, I have a tail sticking out of my head. So yeah, I was saying they both oxidize a bit, and maybe it's a bit more visible with the Coverage foundation, but I think once it's applied to the face, it's like the oxidation goes away or something. I don't know, something weird happens, but it just looks very beautiful on the skin and the color is perfect, so I don't know, but on the hand you can see that it oxidizes a bit. But it doesn't turn orange on the face or anything like that, so no worries guys. So let me tell you one more time, these are both very awesome, great. I'm super excited because I love them. I found not one, but two great affordable foundations, which makes me so happy. So I'm finishing this video on a very positive note. Now quickly run online and order them because they're great. Usually I list all the products that are on my face down in the description box, but I'm gonna skip this part today because I have filmed this video over a few days and the products on my face changed so much that it would be a whole mess down in the description box. But you can find my social media handles down there, so you can check my Instagram, Facebook or Snapchat, or you can check out my blog where I also post some suggestions for weekly workouts and some healthy recipes in case you're interested. And don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and see you in my next video. Bye! So I have